Hello all and welcome back to my channel. I am Rebecca Bhattacharya and I will be continuing with my deep learning course. In previous lecture I have discussed with you about the working of the artificial neural network and the backpropagation algorithm, how the neural network gets trained using the backpropagation algorithm and the weights updation in backpropagation algorithm. So in this lecture I am going to tell you about the optimizer, that is the gradient descent and the stochastic gradient descent, which are the two optimizers. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So let's start with the first topic, that is what is gradient descent. I will be first discussing about the gradient descent optimizer and then I will discuss about the stochastic gradient descent and how it differs from the gradient descent and what are the advantages of the stochastic gradient descent over the gradient descent optimizer. So let's start with what is gradient descent. Now in my previous lecture I have already told you that the main aim of the backpropagation algorithm is to reduce the loss function, right? So all the inputs are initialized with some weights. So let us consider that our weight is initialized at this point, okay, and this is our weight updation formula. Wn new is equal to Wn old minus the eta, which is the learning rate, into the partial derivative term. Now why we find this partial derivative term? We already know from our 11th and 12th standards that derivative is nothing but the gradient, right? So if we initialize the weight at this point, then let us consider that the weight at this point is x1 on the x-axis, and in our y-axis we are considering the loss function or the cost function. Okay, so after we initialize the weight at the point x1, then we will draw a tangent passing through that point. After drawing the tangent, we will look at the right side of the line, and if it points downward, then it is the negative gradient, and if it points upward, then it is the positive gradient. So we have drawn a line passing through this point, and we can see that this line is pointing downward, so we can tell that it is the negative gradient. Now since it is the negative gradient, so what will be the derivative? The derivative will be negative, right? Because the gradient is negative, so our derivative will be negative. So from this equation we can say that Wn new is equal to Wn old, that is the old weight or the weights that we have initialized in the beginning, minus the learning rate into some negative term, because the derivative is negative since the since the gradient is negative. Okay, so the learning rate will be multiplied with some negative term, and before the learning rate there is also another negative term. So negative and negative, it will be a positive term. So we are basically adding some value with our old weight. Okay, so since our weights are initialized to this point, that is x1, if we add some value to this x1, then this will move in this direction, right? Okay, so in this direction, so basically it will move like this, it will come down like this. After certain epochs, the weights will move like in this direction, and it will come down like this. The main objective of the gradient descent optimizer is to reach this point, that is the stationary point, that is x2, which is our global minima. So if we add some term with the old weight, then the point will move towards this direction. so it will reach the global minima point after some epochs. Now let us consider that we have initialized our weight at this point. Okay, again we will draw a tangent passing through that point, and we will see at the right side of the line, and after drawing a tangent at the point, we have seen that the right side of the line is pointing upwards. So this is actually the positive gradient. Now let x3 be the point where our weight is initialized, right? Now since it is a positive gradient, so what will be the derivative term? The derivative term will be a positive value. Okay, so again in this equation, if we consider that Wn old minus eta, that is the learning rate, into some positive value, so a negative into positive will be a negative term. So we are basically subtracting some value from our old weights. So our old weight, since we are subtracting some value from our old weight, so it will move in the opposite direction, right? So x3 actually moved in opposite direction. So it will reach the global minima point after some epochs. Opposite direction means this direction. That is, it will come like this, this and this. And finally it will reach the global minima. So by default this side is the negative gradient and this side is the positive gradient. By default this is the negative gradient and positive gradient for the gradient descent optimizer. So for both for the negative and the positive gradient, our weights are gradually reaching the global minima point. But now let us consider that we have chosen a very high learning rate. Then what will happen? It will keep jumping around this point. It will never reach the global minima. Okay, if we choose the learning rate to be too high, then it will never reach the global minima and the gradient descent will never converge. And if we choose the learning rate to be too small, then it will take much time to reach the global minima, because it will take much more epochs in order to train, in order to update the weights, and it will take much time to reach the global minima. So we should choose a learning rate such that it is suitable for the gradient descent. So this is actually the gradient descent. One most important thing we should remember about the gradient descent is that the gradient descent actually works for all the data records. Okay, suppose that in a data set we have 100 records, then gradient descent will work for all those 100 records. Now what is the stochastic gradient descent? Stochastic gradient descent is nothing but it works for one data record. Okay, so the main difference between the gradient descent and stochastic gradient descent is that gradient descent works for all the data records that are present in a data set, and stochastic gradient descent will work for only one data record at a time that is present in the data set. So it will take one data record, it will initialize the data record with some weight, it will calculate the loss function, it will update the weight, and again in the next turn it will take another data record. Okay, now if we consider some data records from a set of 100 records, then that is called the mini batch stochastic gradient descent. That is, let us consider that we have total 1000 records, and from those 1000 records we are considering only 500 records. So it will load only 500 records but not 1000 records. So in that case we are considering a batch of record, and so it is called the mini batch stochastic gradient descent. So if k data points are considered, here k can be any value, but k should be less than our total number of data records that are present in our data set. So this is actually the difference between stochastic gradient descent and mini batch stochastic gradient descent. Now the main advantage of stochastic gradient descent is that the computational time is much less, because think like this way, that if we have to load millions of records all at a time to RAM, then it will be computationally very complex, right? But stochastic gradient descent is considering only one data point or a batch of data points or data records, and it is making the computation much more easier, because it is much more easy to load 500 data records at a time rather than loading millions of data records at a time. So this is the main advantage of stochastic gradient descent over normal gradient descent. But there is one drawback of stochastic gradient descent. What is the drawback? The drawback is that stochastic gradient descent takes a zigzag path in order to reach the global minima. Okay, so if we have the global minima at a certain distance and we have a weight initialized at a point, then with the help of stochastic gradient descent, it will follow a zigzag path in order to reach the global minima. But gradient descent takes a straight path in order to reach the global minima. So the gradient descent actually reach faster the global minima than the stochastic gradient descent. But the main problem with gradient descent is that it is computationally very complex, and it takes much more time to load the millions of data records or all the data records present in a data set. So since the time is consumed in gradient descent for loading the data points in our data set, so we can write like this, that is del L by del W and old mini batch SGD will be approximately equal with del L by del W and old of the gradient descent. Why? Because in case of mini batch SGD, the time is consumed for reaching the global minima, since it takes a zigzag path, and in case of gradient descent, the time is consumed for loading the records, right? Because if we have to load millions or billions of data records, then it will take much more time. So for both the cases, time is consumed for two separate reasons, for which we can say that the derivative for both the cases will be approximately equal. It will not be equal, but it will be approximately equal. So this is actually the basic difference between the gradient descent and the stochastic gradient descent, and the advantage and the disadvantages of both the optimizers. There are many other types of optimizers that I will be discussing in my future videos, but for this video just learn the gradient descent and the stochastic gradient descent, because we have to consider this concept of the gradient descent in our activation function part. Okay, this activation function I will be discussing with you in my next video. I will start with the activation function, and I will divide the all the activation functions in 2 to 3 videos. I will be dividing them. So in my next lecture I will discuss the very basics of activation function, and I will start with the different types of the activation function. So this is all for this video. See you in my next lecture. Thank you.